And welcome back to another video. Now looking at how to become a business consulting freelancer. So I'm going to make a quick recap of all the models that I have learned so far, specifically from what consulting business is. What are the tasks that a consulting business does? Which is conduct a research, analyze the data, and then present the results. Also, how concept how consulting success looks like. That you have cash flow, and I know what it is, especially because since I'm looking from my investing course as part of my learning process on how to become a business consulting freelancer and secure my finance, that well, the cash flow is this movement in and out of the company. So that's one of the key or the success of how to become or as a business consulting freelancer, that you have this cash flow. Okay, uh, that you have flexibility that this lifestyle give you, and also the security because you can have from multiple sources or multiple clients, so you have multiple source of income, right? Also, I look at how to get the most for your consulting success, expertise. Well, this is before craft an offer, find a niche that you have something you have interest in and that is in demand in the market, and then focus on over delivery in value. So don't fall for the popular belief that if you offer something, people will buy. No one is obligated you to buy you thing, and it is your job and your job alone to hold into that specific niche and develop a rockstar solid offer backed by your reputation. And this is exactly what I'm doing right now. Okay, as my learning process and how to become a business consultant. And also, I look at a couple tips to improve your productivity, such as, well, don't do multitasking, focus on one thing, find a way to get you into your own zone, to get into Zen mode, avoid distraction, eliminate distraction, and don't forget to take breaks, right? 50 minutes break after each one of your high intense cognitive work, or especially if you're learning, it's important to do that as well. So then I look at uh, consultation tips for decision making, especially looking at the Eisenhower matrix. Um, well, the things that are important and urgent, do that today, right now. The things that are important but not urgent, schedule. The things that are urgent but not important, delegate. And ultimately, if that is not important and urgent, don't even do it. Don't even think about it. So that is the first model, right? I can summarize that first model like that. Then I look at the second model of getting started as a business consulting freelancer, because the first model is getting started as a business consulting career. Okay, so understand the fundamentals. It's important to then now you can jump on the market, right? Jump into the water. So, well, things like identify what a niche is, understand what a niche is. That is not a group of people, it's a group of people that they have a couple characteristics. They have a large problem to solve, they actively looking for a solution, there are people that are willing to pay for that solution, and it must have something you have interest in, right? Then I look at the mistake to avoid when choosing a niche, such as that you're going to stick with that niche forever, or you're multiple different niche at once, wrong, copying others without giving your own sauce, and also align yourself with a platform. This is uh, especially as a consultant, go with a particular platform that is already on demand. For example, in the context of marketing, which is marketing the whole field, then as you go down, as you narrow down your focus, you pass through something that is audited market. Then down the line, you have this pay per click, and you align yourself with a platform, which is Google AdSense. In my case, I'm aligned from the software field, okay, to a web development, to a front end and server side application, to Node, right? And Node for the backend and Vue for the front end, right? That's a full stack. And this is something funny because right now I am living in this recession, 2023, and the market is pushing the boundaries of how a engineer, software engineer can do, right? Now, perhaps back then, the 10 years ago, there were a lot of things that uh, were very, very hard to accomplish as or to fulfill for these two roles as a front end and as a back end. But now, thanks to the emerged technology and platforms such as Node, it's closing the gap between those two roles, and now it's unified into one to provide more value to the company and to the users. So that's one of the reasons why I aligned to Node uh, and with Vue as well, right? So we have this combination from the server and the front end, and also, I look at the mistake to avoid when choosing a platform. That you're targeting multiple platforms at once. That's wrong. Don't do that. Focus on one thing. Specialize in something great in a market if that is something in demand. All right. Uh, and how to craft an offer. So the whole idea here is to by creating your value statement. So, what do you offer? You know, so what do you bring to the table? Period. Is help you to simplify your offer, especially give you your elevator pitch. And right now, might be your Zoom pitch. So you summarize that vastly. And in my case, well, I'm a software Node.js developer that help you to build and maintain web applications with modern uh, web frameworks and modern technology that reduce user interaction time and page load time. That's the whole idea of looking at this technology is to provide value to the clients and to the company, the business, and reduce cost as much as possible. So I also look at uh, the scope of the work, especially when you're going to provide your service to someone else, and that is, well, uh, define clear deliverables is important. Define clear written deliverables. For example, in the context of software, that's some you have a method to do that. For For example, the Agile Manifesto, whether you use Scrum or Kanban, which are framework for these Agile Manifestos, this way of developing software uh, with the user feedback along the process, and be huge in communication. Again, this is talking about the scope of the work. Be huge in communication and ask the client how success is going to be measured, right? And there's a lot of people out there, right, in the case of our work or any other in the market, right, that they don't know what to do and they don't know how to do, or they know how to do specifically this segment, but they want to underpay for them. So it's up to you, depending on your situation, if you're able to take that as you get into the game of life, aka the game of finance. You slowly understand that and you capitalize yourself and you have leverage to dedicate your time, in my case, to improve my skills as a business consulting freelance. Okay, I also look at the methods to price your service, right? It can be hourly based or per milestone. The whole idea is to escape the clock and provide the client to the user, because ultimately that's what the client is paying you, is to provide value generally. And more often than not, most consultants or freelancers that are having tremendous success, they have some recurring clients. Uh, yeah, they have some recurring clients that serve as a source of income for their business. And that's the holy grail of any business, having recurring clients. Following is the subscription model. For example, you have is Netflix, where they have is a particular uh, product, digital product, and they're sell to a huge vast majority of people. Okay, so that's the relationship in there. Okay, one product cheap enough to a huge volume, right? The other maybe is one digital product to a few selected people with higher uh, with a higher pay, yeah, with a higher amount. So that's the trade-off when you are applying for this kind of. Uh, so you have two business model, right? So one of them is volume, all right, whereas the other is more for control access control. So this second is more relevant on fields where status matter most, okay, where you can charge people to enter your VIP zone, whatever it is, okay. It can be to an arena or a gym, and some kind of event, even in your own server, okay, so they can access a certain area of your server or your service as well, so your spa, and then you have this volume. Okay, so with volume here, the the important thing here is that, or the challenge here with volume is how do you going to distribute that, right? So the distribution, how is going to be done, and that's where it comes a lot of the technology, okay, and engineers to figuring out that distribution problem in the business. That's, at least from my perspective, uh, how you can improve it, or how you can detect two type of business. All right, whether it's per volume or access control. Okay, so uh, then I also look at something called the value ladder. That this helped me is just as a guideline to understand and to decide how to charge for my service. Especially you start from your lowest level of offering by offering your consultation for free, and this is when you do some client fact findings. You reach to the client to see if you're able to provide the value in a short amount of time, and perhaps in 35 minutes or more or less, going to depend, right, of your time. And then once you reach to some sort of agreement and you know that you're able to provide the value that the client is seeking, you push up the client, you push the client up the value ladder, right? And that is to make, for example, a project audit. So when you look at the particular project and then to start to charge, then to outline your specification or your recommendations, the roadmap that you want to implement uh, on that. So once you reach some sort of agreement with the client about the roadmap that you're going to implement based on your recommendations, the data that the client is giving to you, all right? Then you can tell the client, hey, I would like to go to a 10-hour package of my service, right? So with that, now you can implement your recommendations, okay, based on your needs and the client needs as well. So the ultimate goal here is to have a recurring client, okay, to guarantee a particular service or maintenance to the product. Well, you offering them this particular service uh, to maintain the project, to keep up the dependencies up to date. In the case of software, to secure their application or to keep up their application secure. But this is the value ladder that again serve as a guideline on how to create your offer, because a great offer is not simple and one it's not just a one single offer. In fact, it's a value ladder of offer. So then once I know what consulting business is, I align myself with a profitable niche, and I know how to create my value statement. It is important to now get some real feedback from the market to get uh, to know and to understand how to apply all of the things that I have learned. So, and this is this section, the third section, right? On how to find and land high-paying consulting clients. So it is important that you are able to put yourself out of the comfort zone. That's the reason why I'm doing this. Get some real world hands-on experience that will help you to find uh, that will help you to land that will help you to land your first clients and work on real projects and to get real momentum for you. And there's a couple of mistakes to avoid, especially when you're find uh, you're finding when you're doing this for the first time, right? Like focusing too much in your portfolio, not at all, because the whole idea here uh, is to develop your skills, which is another mistake that most developers, most consultants are doing, is that they are not improving their skill set. And the clients will use their reputation to decide if they want to work with them or not, right? And also is to pay running ads. So once you gain some momentum and you find clients organically, you do all of that things, then, all right, is when you can find uh, and pay for ads. Okay, okay. So then I look at how to land your first client, especially if you're new to this. You have to be honest, transparent to them, and indicate them that even though that you're new to the field, you are driven to provide exceptional results to build your image as a consultant by adjusting your price and reach to some mutual beneficial agreement. So, for example, well, I'm going to provide you is this particular service, but in return, I would like to get some testimonial from you, right? Uh, and also, place where you can find this FA consulting plan, such as Upwork, this World Works Marketplace. It's an on-demand platform to connect freelancers with clients. Your existing network. This is very, very highly contextual because in third world countries that might be not work for you at all. At all. Uh, but it's important to know that they exist. All right, and you can contact past colleagues using uh, things like CRM, because the great thing of this customer relationship management is that it allows you to prepare once you get busy, which is a good thing if you're prepared to handle all of this client relationship. Platform like Hotspot allows you to do that by looking is at all the client activity and to keep track every interaction that you're having with them and your cell phone. Okay, so the thing here is that once I look at Hotspot, how it works, and what are the things that I need to do to create your first account, and also to register your first uh, client as well. And the importance of this is to have a great record because you are building business relationship. That's the whole idea. Right. So that lead me is to the least possible options or the third option, the least valuable option to find clients, which is employment sites, right? Even though that they're not aligned 100% to you, which is probably the things that most freelancers or consultants will do, is that going to these employment sites, find someone that they can hire them. Okay, so find someone that they want to hire you for a particular set of skills, and then down the line